My name is Matt Scott, and I'm a freelance trombone player and teacher around the Atlanta area. First, let's talk about the key signature. Now, we start out in the key of B-flat major, but then modulate in bar 5 to G minor. So before playing this etude, go ahead and run up and down your B-flat major scale and your G natural and harmonic minor scale, because we have quite a few F sharps in the second half of this etude. Next, let's focus on slide technique. Now, when talking about slide technique, we're really referring to a couple different things. The first is making sure that your slide is moving as quickly as possible when moving from position to position while keeping that right arm and wrist relaxed. The next, when moving from position to position, is making sure that our slide, our tongue, and our air are all moving at the exact same time. If they don't, that's what creates the sound when we get do, 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 where you hear a little bit of slide noise in the sound, and we don't want that. One way to help isolate this is to take the first 2 or 3 bars and gliss it, only tonguing the first note. And again, focus on moving the slide as quickly as possible from note to note while keeping that slide arm and wrist as relaxed as possible. Next, just add in a very, very light da tongue. Now, legato tonguing is a funny thing. It's got a sweet spot where we need to make sure that we're tonguing hard enough to be audible, but soft enough to where it doesn't interrupt the flow of air. Now, one of the analogies that I use with a lot of my students when it comes to legato tongue is to think of a water fountain. Now, you turn that water fountain on and you see the flow of water that doesn't stop, it keeps going. That's your air. Now, if I was to take my finger and I was to quickly run it through that flow of water, you'll see that the water doesn't stop. All it does is my finger goes through the water long enough to briefly interrupt the flow. And that's your tongue. Your tongue hits briefly enough just to interrupt the flow of air, but the air never stops flowing. Next, let's talk about something that I like to call footballing the note. It's where you take one note and you swell a little bit on it, kind of like this. Do. And people do it really for 2 different reasons. One, some people do it unintentionally, and generally what that has to do with is an air consistency issue. And 2, some people do it because they're trying to make a musical phrase, trying to make a musical statement. Now, if you're that first person, go ahead and put your horn down. Let's focus just on your breathing. Breathe in for 4 and out for 4. Focus on keeping your air relaxed, but most importantly, keeping it consistent. Any inconsistencies, any bumps or waves in your air are going to show up directly in your sound. Now, if you're that second person, try and focus on a little bigger of a picture. Rather than just crescendoing and decrescendoing that first note, focus on the whole phrase and maybe play something like this. Do, 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 do. There's a number of different options that you can do, but the longer we stretch some of these phrases, the more we'll captivate our audience. Now, good luck and happy practicing.